Claims versus Evidence by the CSU Global Writing Center and Library. In academic writing, it's important to create and develop arguments by presenting claims and supporting those claims with evidence. But what is the difference between claims and evidence? First, let's define a few terms. In academic writing, you as the writer set out to support and develop an argument over the course of a specific essay or assignment. An argument is a debatable position on a specific issue or topic. In academic writing, writers are expected to provide a short overview of their argument in the form of a thesis statement, which typically consists of 1 to 2 sentences and is presented in the introduction of the essay. Arguments are debatable, but should be supported with evidence and analysis to show why the argument carries weight and presents a significant perspective worthy of consideration. Over the course of an academic essay, you need to support and develop your overall argument through a series of claims. Think of a claim as a small argument or a mini thesis statement. The scope of a claim is a single paragraph as opposed to an entire essay. Claims should be debatable, statements that can be supported with evidence. Claims do not simply restate facts or offer an opinion. Each claim proves or supports some aspect of the overall argument for your paper. For example, the claim that, quote, all mental health providers experience burnout, end quote, is not debatable. All you have to do is find an example of one mental health care provider who has not experienced burnout. But you could make the claim that, quote, mental health providers experience higher rates of burnout compared to other healthcare professionals, end quote. This is a debatable claim that can be supported with different types of evidence and analysis. On the other hand, evidence is generally factual and inarguable information. The types of evidence you choose to incorporate into your essay will directly affect the scope and the type of claims you make and the overall argument of your paper. For example, there are different types of evidence: data and statistics, peer-reviewed studies, primary sources like historical texts or artifacts, demonstrative evidence like video, audio, and photographs, expert testimony, anecdotal evidence, etc. Depending on the claim you're making, certain types of evidence will be more appropriate than others. For example, if you are claiming that mental health providers experience high rates of burnout in their profession, you can't just rely on anecdotal evidence from one mental health care provider who has experienced burnout. Instead, you would want to support that claim with several types of evidence that prove the scope of the problem, like surveys completed by mental health care providers and data on rates of burnout in other comparable professions. In summary, an academic essay should present a central argument in the form of a thesis statement. To support this argument, the writer presents a series of claims, typically one per body paragraph, that build off one another to develop and support the thesis statement. Each claim should then be supported by evidence and analysis that is appropriate for the scope of the claim. For more information on the difference between claims and evidence, or if you need any help with writing, please contact us at writing.center@csuglobal.edu or give us a call at 720-263-0871.